NamRA Kachenu, NamRA nchi yetu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA nchi yetu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA nchi yetu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA nchi yetu.
NamRA, serving with passion.
Hello and welcome to this edition of NamRA Kachenu, where the focus is on tax, customs and excise matters. It is the 20th edition since we first aired on the 27th of October 2022. I'm Elise Dentlinger and I am honored to be in your company for the next half an hour or so. In recent developments, NamRA officially opens the Opuvo satellite office. Services taking to the highest office in the land. NamRA publishes the Customs Traveler's Guide. All that and more coming to you in a little while.
Well, NamRA Kachenu, we have one of our responsibilities as a revenue agency is to communicate and to engage our stakeholder, to educate and empower taxpayers.
That's very true. I believe in my previous role or my previous job as an employee of the Bank of Namibia, I have been actively involved with the discussions of creating a NamRA sort of institution.
But we were appointed and then we were given the task to start putting in place policies and structures where we could, which could enable us to appoint the staff members, including the commissioner for the agency.
Well, the department Customs and Excise is a department within NamRA. It derives its mandate from the Customs and Excise Act 20 of 1998.
So this department is aligned, or it works closely with all the other departments in NamRA, being the finance department that is responsible for providing finances for this department to carry on its mandate.
The thing from our side as Namibia Revenue Agency as an entity is that we are on a more advantaged stage in the fact that we have I think we're the second last of the revenue agents, country rather, to be having a revenue agency. And therefore we can learn from what other entities have done, what other countries have done regionally as well as internationally.
My focus and my purpose has been to build an organization that really aspires to that vision of being a world-class revenue agency that serves with passion to positively impact the livelihoods of every Namibian. So that's what I believe in. And that is what motivates me and inspires me every day.
The journey is good. We are living by our vision and our values. And of course, we'll be making that positive impact in the livelihood of many Namibians.
On 24th August 2023, NamRA officially opened its Opuvo satellite office, followed by a lively stakeholder engagement session. At the occasion, the Commissioner, Sam Shivute, emphasized NamRA's commitment to bringing services closer to the people and improving service delivery.
This office has been operational since February. Because of the dynamics around here, we needed to be sure that it's working. And at an appropriate time, then invite yourself as well as the original leadership. Officially, this is what we're doing. We're not going to have any real statements.
NamRA has made a very significant impact already in the country. I think it is only fair that when we are given opportunities to serve as Namibia, we do it distinguishedly like the way we do. And you have our support as a region. We have our support as people of Namibia, that NamRA has to do what it has to do. Otherwise, our futures.
How do we touch the livelihood of every Namibian? That's our vision. We also have strategic objectives. We have 7 strategic objectives, and I'm not going to take you through all those 7 strategic objectives. But one of the objectives is that of improving revenue, or optimizing revenue collection. We want to improve revenue collection. We want also to promote voluntary compliance. Then of course we want to enhance trade facilitation and to protect society. What we mean when we say we have to protect society, we are at all the borders. We are in Rodrigues, we are at Ngoma border post, Kasamane border post, we are at Valvisbai, Oraniemund, we are at Klein Manasseh, Noorduver, Adiam. So we are at all the borders. It's also our responsibility to ensure that illicit goods like drugs, those substances do not come in. You may have heard, even last week there was a consignment of drugs that was coming through Trans-Kalahari that was intercepted. At the beginning of the year, there were some drugs that was intercepted at Hosea Kotako International Airport.
NamRA extended its services to State House staff, mainly assisting with electronic filing of returns and supporting documents, while using the opportunity to educate on important matters.
And then what you get what you call your taxable income. That's what we calculate as based on those progressive rates that is there. For example, if your gross remuneration had 300,000 on your items, and your pension deduction had 20,000, then you take 300 minus 20,000, which is 280. Now your 280 will fall in the, if we could go back, I don't know whether the thing is moving.
We have now two ways of filing your tax return. You have your Pay 5, you have your manual return that we also send out, and then you have your study policy certificate, and then you have your retirement annuity certificate. Now you have two options to submit, but we advocate for e-filing because it is the easier and the faster way to process that return.
On the 8th of August 2023, NamRA published the much-needed educational brochure to assist clients who travel or plan to travel in and out of the country. Here is Mr. Wilbrod Poniso, Head of Customs and Excise, giving us an outline on what can be found in the document and where you can find it.
Good day, our esteemed clients. NamRA has produced a traveler's guide for your convenience. It's a convenient book that you can use when you travel or live in Namibia. It informs you what are the requirements that you need to comply with whenever you are living or coming to Namibia. It also informs what are your duty-free allowances when you come to Namibia, when you bring in goods for that you have acquired. And it also provides you, if you are traveling from SACU countries, coming to Namibia, what are your allowances that you can enjoy. Furthermore, the booklet also provides to you, in terms of the first assessment, how can you be assessed? You may have a choice to make. If you have exceeded, your goods exceeds the duty-free allowances, you may request to be dealt with by freight rate or by tariff, whereas you make an assessment will be made as if your goods are for commercial purposes. Furthermore, this book also advises you when you are at the airport, what type of goods that you should have when you have got to choose between the red and the green channel. What are the goods that you should travel in when you are green channels? When you go to the red channels, what are the goods that? Furthermore, it also informs you in respect of the list of the prohibited goods that when you come to Namibia, you are prohibited to bring them in. And then you also do have restricted goods. These are goods whereas if you need to bring them to Namibia, you need to have an import permit or a license that is issued by other institutions. And if you fail to comply, what are the consequences in respect how will you be treated? Amongst them would be either your goods will be detained, will be seized, and equally as well, there will be an imposition of a penalty. All the criminal proceedings might be opened against you, depending on the seriousness of the offense. Furthermore, we may stop and search anybody living or entering the country, Namibia, by our legislation. These booklets can be obtained at any of our offices, or you may obtain it from our website www.namra.org.na. Thank you.
When we return, we will be joined by Mr. Harrison Kavikairiua, Regional Manager, Southern Operation Domestic Taxes at NamRA. Stay tuned.
We administer tax and custom laws so efficiently and consistently. We are ethical, effective in changing lives. We are there for you. This is your revenue. NamRA, serving with passion to positively impact the livelihood of every Namibian.
Welcome back. Good day, Mr. Harrison, and welcome to NamRA Kachenu. Mr. Harrison, could you share your experience since joining NamRA and what you found in place in your office?
Thank you for the question. Yes, the experience has been quite enriching and enjoyable. I have received a lot of support, starting with our commissioner, our head of domestic taxes, and our senior manager who's responsible for regional operation, right through to my peers, fellow regional managers, as well as the team here in the office. Yes, I found a functional office. We just had to tweak a few things here and there. The first one was to do with staff morale. Staff morale was quite low. As you know, during the period when I started, NamRA was busy with the recruitment of the senior taxation officers as well as the taxation officers. So the staff bemoaned a lack of communication in that regard. So yeah, we really try to ensure that whatever information is received from the head office is shared with the staff in a timely manner. The second was communication. Our staff in the satellite offices, as you know, to this office we have 3 satellite offices reporting to this regional office. We also ensure that they were kept informed regarding any development in the office and in NamRA as a whole. And finally, I noticed that when it comes to roles on ITAS, each staff member, or most of the staff members, had roles or had different roles, which necessarily didn't relate to the day-to-day responsibilities. So therefore, we revoked all roles and we ensure that each staff member only has access to the roles that relates to the daily day-to-day responsibility.
Mr. Harrison, what are some of the challenges you encounter when dealing with clients in your region?
The most common challenge that we have regarding our taxpayers is non-compliance through the non-filing of returns, which trickles down to the non-payment of taxes due. The other common challenge that we have is that most of our taxpayers in the regions, in this region, are farmers, and they are mostly represented by bookkeepers. So when you get to interview the taxpayer himself, normally there's a gap of information between what the taxpayer has and what the bookkeeper has. So that accountability, even though they are represented by bookkeepers, they are still overly accountable for their own taxes. And finally, it's the lack of knowledge regarding the tax laws themselves. So I think we can rectify that through more regular tax education and campaigns in the different sectors.
Can you tell us about some of the initiatives you are currently undertaking to educate taxpayers in your region?
We have different interventions that we use to educate our taxpayers. The most common one is educating through audits. So when taxpayers comes in for the audits, we normally try to ensure that if there's any non-compliance noted or any misunderstanding or interpretation of the law, it is cleared immediately through that audit to ensure that it's not repeated in future. And then we had a specific intervention with bookkeepers because most of our taxpayers are represented by bookkeepers. So we had a meeting with them here in Keetmans and one in Mariental, where we engaged directly with them to clear how information should be submitted for audits and what the expectations are from our side. And thirdly, mostly through stakeholders engagement, which we try to have on a quarterly basis, where we invite mostly the business community to engage with us to discuss any challenges they have regarding the office, the processing and processing of returns and any other business relating to them. And finally, through our regional roadshows, whether it being regional shows or exhibitions in the different towns, like we had the Crayfish Festival earlier in Luderitz. We will be here in the Keetmans Hoop Regional Show, go to be in Karasburg and have taxpayers engagement in Mariental later in the year.
We are so grateful that you have taken such initiatives with educating our taxpayers in your region. You have done such a great job. Now, Mr. Harrison, can you tell us, is there any backlog on assessment and audits in your region? And if yes, what is the strategy put in place to tackle the backlog?
Yes, we still do have challenges when it comes to assessment and backlogs on assessment. But what we can confirm is we have really done well in this regional office to clear all those returns that were received manually. So we managed to scan them and to upload them onto the system. So we are just in the process to make sure that the older periods are also captured and processed accordingly. Because we still have those legacy periods like the 2013s that have status like received pending capture. So that is the next phase of our challenge to clear the entire backlog. We have really done well in that regard, and with audits, we still do have backlogs on audits, but as of the 1st of August, we have received new intakes, which means that more hands on board or more hands on deck, and we can now have a bigger capacity to process or to attend to audits on a regular basis.
Well, thank you, Mr. Harrison. That was really informative. Now, can you tell us what is your message to the viewers out there?
My message to the viewer today is that NamRA is still in the process of educating the taxpayer and encouraging voluntary compliance. Hence, we invite all our taxpayers and clients to visit our respective offices in their regions and to also partake in different programs that are currently running, like the tax amnesty program, that grants you the opportunity to waive your entire penalties and interest once you fulfill the requirements, like paying your capital debt and registering on our online platform, as well as our outreach to all taxpayers that filed nil returns where there was no proper declaration, to approach our offices and let's take hands to make sure that all these issues are cleared. I thank you.
Well, that was Mr. Harrison Kavikairiua, Regional Manager, Southern Operation Domestic Taxes at NamRA.
We administer tax and custom laws so efficiently and consistently. We are ethical, effective in changing lives. We are there for you. This is your revenue.
NamRA, serving with passion to positively impact the livelihood of every Namibian.
Meet one of NamRA's dedicated staff member at Hosea Katako International Airport, Mr. Bernard Lowe, Senior Customs Officer, Clearance Enforcement, who previously served at Walfish Bay Office. Here is Mr. Bernard Lowe.
My name is Bernard Frank Lowe. I'm a Senior Customs and Excise Officer stationed at Hosea Katako International Airport. I'm also a World Customs Organization accredited expert trainer on the subject of rules of origin. I joined the Ministry of Finance as an Assistant Customs Officer in 1998 on the 21st of March. Currently, I am engaged in passenger control, clearance and enforcement of imported goods. My aim is to become the head of customs within the near future. My motivation factor, driven me day to day to get up and do my work, is that I get an opportunity to share knowledge and skills with my colleagues. My message to fellow colleagues is please don't restrict yourself to your job description. Gain as much skills and knowledge as you can. Use the international tools and instruments to empower yourself. It will greatly assist you to become an efficient and effective officer. To the taxpayers out there, when you encounter customs, being at the borders, airports, seaports, or any other entry point, please cooperate and declare anything you will be having outside your duty-free allowances. Declare all goods and pay your dues. After all, paying your taxes is the right thing to do. It helps government in paying for the national projects, building schools, hospitals, infrastructure such as roads, railways, and airports.
The next insert focuses on who should register for VAT and the due date of VAT returns.
Hello everyone, my name is Francesca Abraham and I am here to shed light on who should register for VAT and when is the due date of VAT returns. To start, I would like to give you a brief overview on what is VAT. VAT is an indirect tax which is applied on the value added on goods and services at each stage of production, importation, and distribution chain. In Namibia, VAT is levied at a standard rate of 15%. In Namibia, VAT is levied at a standard rate of 15% on most supplies of goods and services. In order for a person to charge or to claim VAT, they should be registered for VAT. Therefore, if you are not registered for VAT, you may not charge VAT on the supplies to your customers. However, you are still required to pay VAT when buying goods or services. Who should register for VAT? Based on Section 15 of the Value Added Tax Act number 10 of 2000, there are two types of registrations. Registration number 1, compulsory registration. It is mandatory that a person carrying on a business with an annual taxable turnover which exceeds 500,000 Namibian dollars should apply to be registered for VAT. Registration type number 2, voluntary registration. This applies to a person who wishes to register for VAT. However, their annual taxable turnover does not exceed 500,000 Namibian dollars, but exceeds 200,000 Namibian dollars. This person may register provided that 1, they have a fixed place of business, 2, they maintain proper record keeping, and 3, they submit reliable returns. When is the due date of VAT returns? VAT returns must be furnished on the 25th day of the month following the end of the VAT period, whether or not tax is payable in respect of such period. Thank you.
Let's look at requirements and process of modification for ID and change of surnames of taxpayers at the new business department.
Hi, I am Nesla Watanawa, and today we're going to talk about modifying your ID and surname. Updating of the ID number on the system can be done in the Office of Registration. The client can come in the office or do it via online. For Namibian nationals, clients need to submit a certified copy of their ID. For foreign nationals, the clients need to submit the latest certified copy of the passport. When modifying surnames, this can also be done at the Office of Registration. The client can come in the office or do it via online. When married, the clients need to submit a certified copy of the ID with a new surname and a certified copy of the marriage certificate. When divorced, the client is required to submit the divorce letter from the Master of the High Court and a certified copy of the ID on the old surname.
Here is the trivia of duties.
Did you know? Who can be considered a large taxpayer in Namibia? Large taxpayers are based on the threshold of an annual turnover of 75 million or more. Regardless of the turnover, all mining companies will be classified as large taxpayers. Large taxpayers contribute more revenue in terms of domestic tax collection.
NamRA, saving with passion.
Up next, we are looking at online registration of SADC e-Certificate of Origin.
What is electronic certificate of origin? It is any electronically processed and issued a certificate of origin by a competent authority attesting that the goods declared by exporter conform to specific rules of origin. What are the objectives of electronic certificate of origin? Is to facilitate easy movement of goods, is to improve inter-regional trade, is to reduce cost of doing business within the region, and to promote a paperless environment. What are the benefits to exporter? Easy access to historical transaction, reduction in time and cost of processing, access to download electronic certificate of origin copies, reduction in data error, online platform allows accessibility from anywhere, guaranteed preferential treatment where origin is proven, and it also reduces shipment delays. Benefits to competent authority, reduction in time and cost of processing, improved record keeping, improved data cross-referencing, improved post-audit registration, improved origin verification, reduction in certificate of origin fraud, and it also secure electronic certificate of origin processing. If you want to register, just follow the following steps. Step 1, go to the link shown on the screen and register. Step 2, register with your VAT registration number or with your VAT account number. Step 3, submit the following required documentation online: company registration with BIPA, short company profile, manufacturing processes, producer or supplier declaration, exports permit, proof of right holding with Ministry of Fisheries, proof of identification, and good standing certificate with NamRA. Step 4, section rules of origin checks, query, approves or rejects the application. Step 5, if the registration is approved, the exporter receives any email with a login credential to apply for the online certificate of origin. Step 6, the exporter applies and submits the online certificate of origin to rules of origin for approval. Step 7, the approved certificate together with customs declaration documents transmitted automatically via the ASCUDA system to the importing country. Step 8, the importing country validate and notify the exporting country. Step 9, the exporter downloads and prints the copy for reference. I thank you.
Are you owing NamRA in tax debt? Here are the options on how to make tax payments.
My name is Angela Kamui, Senior Revenue Treasury Officer at NamRA. I'm going to take you through the process of making payments to our NamRA offices. We have 4 modes of payments which are acceptable at our offices, which are direct deposits, cash payments, electronic fund transfers, and speed points machines. When making electronic fund transfers, we have 2 accounts available for our taxpayers, which is Receiver of Revenue, account 165001, and the VAT dedicated account 165060. When making a direct deposit, our taxpayers need to fill this deposit slip at their commercial bank. You need to have your TIN with you. The TIN consists of 8 characters, and then you should also know the period that you are making the payment for. When making an electronic fund transfer, for your penalty or interest liability due to NamRA, you use the EFT referencing example as shown on the screen. It also has 19 characters. But on the tax type and tax period, you put 999, indicating that the payment is account payment. When making electronic fund transfers, EFT referencing example is shown on the screen, which comprises of 19 characters. The taxpayer reference number comprises of 5 parameters, which are as follows. 1. Represent the payment method, in this case, EFT payment. 06. Office of registration or your return office. The 8th character represents your tax identification number. 14 is tax type, in this case, employees tax. 2018-06 is the tax period for which the payment is meant for.
The question for this episode: what is the name of the recently published education brochure and when was it published? Do email your answer to NamRA Kachenu at namra.org.na. The due date for submission is the 7th of September 2023. The winner will be announced in the next episode.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of NamRA Kachenu. We hope you find the information valuable and insightful. Join us in 2 weeks' time for more updates. Until then, stay informed and compliant. Goodbye.
Giving fairness